everyone, and welcome to Chocolate Good Games match preview of West Ham United against Nottingham Forest, back to the Premier League, staying in the London Stadium. Gonzo, can you kick us off with your thoughts on Nottingham Forest, please?
Yeah, I understood. I read some rumours at the start of the season they might be having financial difficulty, and I don't know if that played into the fact that they had to sell Brennan Johnson. Don't know how much truth there is to it. The biggest thing I'd say, they don't appear to have missed him, certainly not in results anyway. They appear to be sort of quite comfortably mid-table, and they're going to be pleased. You know, they are so far ahead, really, of those sort of bottom four. And, you know, it must be nice for Nottingham Forest to look at it and think, well, we're not even going to contest the relegation scrap last season, which, you know, for a large part of the season, the middle and the end of last season, they were involved in alongside us. So they're going to be really pleased with that. It's really hard to talk about structure and to talk about the model of the club because, as I understand it, it might have changed because of the financial situation. So it's quite difficult to know whether they're on the right path. But I think, you know, fair play to the board who stuck with their manager, stuck with Cooper. I think that was good, and they've been rewarded. He appears to be a good manager. I think he might have been with the England's under 18s or something like that in the early days. I might have that wrong, but look, he looks to be a really, really good manager, and I'm really pleased for him that he's managed to weather it. And I just don't think it's easy when you're. There were a lot of clamours for everybody to sack him. I think he made a really good decision with Jesse Lingard not to renew there. Again, it must be a lot of pressure when you're signing someone. We believed that Jesse Lingard was on £10 million for one season, right? Or something close to it. 200 grand a week, whatever it is, Nottingham Forest. There must be such a clamour to put that guy into your team. But it came to a point last season, he thought, this isn't the guy for me. You know, if we're going to do something, it's going to be Brennan Johnson and Gibbs White who are going to do something for us here. And I think you've got to be strong. You've got to be really strong-willed and strong-minded to do that. And then to do that whilst fighting off a relegation scrap when your job's under threat. And now maybe there's some uncertainty surrounding, I don't know, let's say the ownership of the club, or whatever the case, but the financial things are. Fair play to him. I think he's a very, very strong man, actually, and I think a very good manager.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Cooper. I think you've answered my question, really. Sort of a couple of weeks ago, there was sort of talk regarding him because they'd got off to an okay start this season, I guess, but not the best one. And then this was prior to the win against Aston Villa, obviously. And there's a bit of talk such as, well, when do Forest demand more from him? Because they've obviously spent quite a bit of money since coming back to the Premier League, invested heavily in the playing staff. They've got some really good players at that club now. And it was a case of, you know, when is sort of just surviving no longer good enough for Nottingham Forest? When can they demand more? So there was sort of like media talk potentially surrounding the future of Steve Cooper. But do you think they should stick with them? And
yeah, 100%. I mean, because they know all about his character now. Those things that I mentioned, they're all about character, and they know he's got it there. And they know. They found out all they need to know. Can he get him up the table? Yes. Can he manage players? Yes. Can he make the tough decisions? Yes. Can he steer the club when there's a bit of uncertainty going around behind the scenes? Yes. There's just yeses all the way along. I don't think they're in a position now to particularly bear in, you know, and can you deal with the loss of you're perceived to be your best? Okay, I think Gibbs White is, but you know, you could have made the argument whether it was Brennan Johnson or him. Can you lose your best player and still keep going? And the answer is yes to that. I tell you now, whoever they replaced Cooper with, it'd be a hell of an assumption to think they will do better than him, because they might not. You may well find that you get rid of Cooper and you get in someone that's not quite as good.
yeah, it's funny enough because Cooper sort of makes me feel a little bit hypocritical, truth be told. I mean, talking about Nottingham Forest this season so far, I think they've improved since last season. Although the results aren't the best yet, I think they will start to yield better results as the season goes on. When I watched Nottingham Forest last season, I never knew what lineup to expect when I was tuning in, and it was always different. The back four was always different. Would Wardle be playing? Would McKenna be playing? Would Bowley be playing? Whatever. I felt like there was a lot of changes week to week, and Brennan Johnson and Gibbs White were probably the two most consistent ones. Maybe if Yates was available, he'd be playing as well. But even then, he wasn't guaranteed to start, and it felt like there was no consistency. There was no stability within the starting team at Nottingham Forest, and understandably so, because they had about 20 new players to integrate into that team. They had a lot of big names for a promoted team. You mentioned Jesse Lingard. Emmanuel Dennis is another one. It actually arrived a lot of other Premier League clubs like ourselves were being linked with him. He went to Nottingham Forest, and that puts pressure on the manager, make him a success. And it takes quite a ruthless club to very quickly say, we've made a mistake here, take him out of the team, and we'll get rid of him in the summer or the January transfer window, whatever, we'll get rid of them. We'll move on to the next one. And it felt like they were almost playing a little bit like blindfolded darts. You put a blindfold and throw enough darts at the dartboard, you're eventually going to hit the bullseye. And it felt like they were doing that a little bit with buying some players. I think some players were really good, but there was others they brought in that didn't really make sense, and they've left the club already. So it would suggest that they got a lot wrong. While I think they've got a lot of signings right, they've also got a lot of signings wrong, and that cannot help the manager. But I was adamant that Nottingham Forest should stick with Steve Cooper last season, and I was convinced from the word go they wouldn't get relegated. And this season, I'd like them to stick with it for as long as possible again, because this season I feel like there is that stability, there is that consistency now. When I watched Nottingham Forest, I can probably guess 8 or 9 of the starting 11. There's more obvious patterns of play happening. They look defensively better. They're not suspect of counter-attack as they were last season, where I thought if you invited them on last season, you could win the ball and go, and you've got a chance against them. This season, not so much. I feel like there's more of a tactical game plan going on, and maybe Cooper's finding out what he wants from his players, and that much more of a settled team. There's a lot to be said from that, I think. Their midfield three, I think, it's pretty much been their midfield three since the start of the season, and they're reaping the rewards for that. So, but the reason I feel hypocritical is for everything you've said, you could volley back at West Ham fans regarding David Moyes. Say, well, hang on a minute, you guys don't like David Moyes, perhaps, but he's giving you all those things. And this is the difference between being a supporter of a club and being on the outside looking in a little bit. Nottingham Forest fans know a hell of a lot more about their club and Steve Cooper than we do, but from the outside looking in, it looks like he's doing a good job. Just like Nottingham Forest fans might be thinking, hang on a minute, when we're looking at West Ham, it looks like Moyes, everything's rosy at West Ham. Is it not? What you're on about? What do you mean some of your fans have grievances and whatnot? So, yeah, Cooper makes me feel a little bit hypocritical when it comes to West Ham and David Moyes in that regards. Expectations for them this season?
Stay in the Premier League, which they will do. That's it. I can't think there's enough talent within the squad to win something. That's hard. I mean, look at us. We've spent, best part of $4.5 million. That's and it's even I look at even us. So we just got through in the Carabao Cup, whatever it's called, against Arsenal, and you still look. And then you just get drawn against Liverpool in the next round at Anfield. So hard for us to win any sort of tournament. And it's just, well, we did win a tournament last season, and I'm very, very grateful for it. But it's a difficult thing to do, Gio, So, stay in the Premier League will be a really good thing for them to do.
I'll go one further than that. Rather than just staying in the Premier League, I would say stay away from a relegation battle for the entire season. Just be safe. Get to match day 30 in the Premier League, and while you're not perhaps mathematically safe, you're virtually safe. It would take a disaster for you to get relegated, and I think that would be a successful season. It's about building steps, isn't it? Next season, then, can you go one further? Can you actually maybe challenge for silverware? Can you play better football? Can you start integrating players from the academy into your team? Because all you've done is bring in these big names and try to stick together this team that can stay in the Premier League. You've done that. Now you've got it 2 seasons in a row. Can you start to integrate the youngsters from? I don't know what the Nottingham Forest Academy is like, if there's any talent there, but what can you do next season that builds on what you've already got this season? So I expect them to finish, I don't know, 14th, 15th, something like that in this season, which sounds bad, but I don't think there'll be no relegation battle. And it's about just doing those tactical tweaks and working out who Cooper wants at the club long term, and have it's probably another summer of high turnover players at Nottingham Forest, but it'll be like that for a couple of seasons because, well, Forest actually got a lot of criticism for the money they spent. What the mainstream media ignored was the fact that they only had about 4 players from the championship season that was with them, so they needed to go get all these. But this season, there's justification further, which is you look at the 3 promoted sides who perhaps haven't spent that much money. Well, look at them. They're probably getting straight back to the championship. That's what happens if you don't come up and spend big money. And the Norwich model is admirable, which, they come up and they don't spend money. They're quite, we're not going to spend the big bucks. This is what we do. but we know what the inevitable result is, which is you might have one season, but eventually you're going back to the Championship. Unless you spend, you're probably not going to stay in the Premier League. So Forest had to. They had to spend the money. They've done it now, and they're reaping the rewards. Final question on Steve Cooper's side then, Gonzo. Players you admire?
Well, Gibbs White, I've already mentioned. I and I don't just saying it now. I was saying it when he was at Wolves. Exceptional player. Was the player that I would have loved more than any other if we were going to lose Lucas Paquetá. He's the player that I feel Man City should have probably gone for the moment they didn't get Lucas Paquetá. I think he's capable of, far be it from me to try and sell Nottingham Forest players for them, but it's with admiration. I think he's a stunning player. The type of player, I don't say this about many, the type of player is worth the admission fee to watch play. He's the type of guy you say to your son, watch him, and he's absolutely brilliant. They've got a guy, Sangaré, who catches the eye. I think that's how you pronounce it. Might have butchered that a little bit. And I like the striker. The more I see of the striker, what's his name again? Begin with A. Awoni, sorry, yeah, Awoni. Wow, he's good. They beat Aston Villa. Now, don't get me wrong, they didn't have all the game against Aston Villa. They didn't, but that's a really, really good result for them, Geo, and it's made this fixture a little bit more. We'll get to that at the end of the thing anyway. But anytime I've seen him, he looks physical, he looks fast, and there's a lot to admire there. They've got themselves a really good player there.
I echo what he just said about Gibbs. Right, I think Hudson-Odoi is an astute signing, a few million quid for him, and I think he's looked quite good when I've seen him, albeit not that often, but I think he's looked quite sharp in the games and could be one of those signings clubs like us look at in a couple of years to come, thinking, why didn't we go in and get him? A bit like what, not so much now, what Gray had when he went to Everton for a couple of million. You just think, hang on a minute, why have we not gone and got him for 2 million if he's available? I think Hudson-Odoi might have that effect at Nottingham Forest as well. Big fan of Awoni, loved him in the Bundesliga. Was disappointed. Was a bit disappointed we didn't go after him. And I remember doing the preview with you for the Nottingham Forest game last season. I said, I think he'll do well. He'll score goals and he'll keep them up. And hey, I got a little bit of criticism for that one, but I think I was proven right in the end. But I think he's a terrific striker, and he ticks all the boxes for David Moyes, which is frustrating, even more frustrating than go for him. He would walk into our team for this fixture. We were to do a combined 11. I think Awoni would waltz right in there. But the player that stood out for me the most in the red is their centre back, Murillo. I don't know even how you pronounce it. I know you spell it, Murillo. Never heard of him. Watched Nottingham Forest one game. Can't remember what game it was. Starting 11 came out. There he was at centre back. Oh, who's this guy? Never heard of him. Wow, some talent. Not only can he defend, it's like watching an attacking midfielder play at centre back. The way he moves, his skill, he drop of a shoulder and takes on strikers, plays out from the back. He was sensational that night. I can't remember who they played, but he was absolutely. I want to say it was Fulham, but maybe they've not even played Fulham yet this season. But he was unbelievable, and I thought, wait, just one game. I watched him again. He was fantastic again. So left-footed, very comfortable, and like I said, I've never heard of him, but I've just been blown away by him so far. And he's one of those players, and this is why. Do you know when sometimes you say you like a player, and someone say, "Well, how many times you've seen him?" I think sometimes you only need to see someone play 3 times, and you go, he's got talent." I've watched him a few times now, and I already know that guy's got talent. Nottingham Forest fans may correct me, say, "Hey, the ones you haven't watched, you've been crapping," but every time I've seen him play, I thought he'd been potentially man of match, if not the man of match in the game. Fantastic footballer, brilliant defender. And it's one of them, I just think, I've never heard of this guy. But Nottingham Forest might have a gem on their hands there. If you never heard of him, you heard it here first for some people. Murillo, whatever his name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but top defender. Shall we talk about West Ham?
I think we should.
Right then, team news. It's good. Everyone's available. Kurt Zouma was the only player missing again on Thursday night. However, he's been back in training for a week now, so I think David Moyes perhaps was just keeping him for this fixture. So in regards to this preview, Gonzo, you've got a full squad of players to select from in the make-believe 11 that you'd like to see start at the London Stadium on Sunday. So with that in mind, would you like to take me through your goalkeeper and defence, please?
I would like to take you through all 6 of them. I'm joking.
It's curveball there.
Little curveball there. I'm going to play Alphonse Areola at goalkeeper, funnily enough. Then I will play Soufal. I will bring Kurt Zuma back for this fixture, and I will partner him alongside Nathan Gerd, and it will be no surprise to anybody that Emerson will be slotting in at left back.
I've struggled with this one actually. Not just, in fact, the whole 11. I just normally, like when we're doing this, I always down the questions. They're the same questions as every other preview. Maybe adapt the one for the opposition, but generally speaking, we've got a bit of a structure. So at the side of my paper, I do the 11 I'd like to see, and usually I just whiz it all down in one go. Maybe have one player. Okay. For this one, actually, I found myself really deliberating quite a few players, and one of them was Kurt Zuma, because actually I quite liked what I've seen from Mavropanos and the Gerd against Arsenal and against Olympiacos. Now, not so much against Brentford. I thought there was a few errors between them.
Yeah.
But it's one of them, I think, is it worth sticking with? Could we stick, or should we stick with them two as a pairing? Bearing in mind there's an international break coming up. Bearing in mind Kurt Zuma, who's never 100% fit, is even less than 100%, 80% Kurt Zuma, if that makes sense. So let's just say Kurt Zuma is usually 80%, is even 80% this weekend. So I think I would stick with the defence that we've seen against Olympiacos. So Areola and goal, and then Soufal, Mavropanos, Gerd, and Emerson.
Well, I'll ask you a question then. Do you think who's best suited to defend against Awoni? Absolutely. Out of 2 centre halves that I'm talking about.
Probably Zuma, truth be told.
Which is why I've selected him, basically.
But I think Awoni's mobile as well as physical.
He is.
And I think Zuma can sometimes be targeted for his lack of mobility and his lack of pace. And I think Awoni might get joy that way. I think Awoni would get success against a Gerd physically as well. So even if Zuma played, I think he might just go over to a Gerd and say, right, I'll have it against this guy then. Sure. So I would stick with Mavropanos and a Gerd, because part of the reason is, Gonzo, I think there's going to be an emphasis on us to dominate possession. I think Forest don't mind us having it. They'd like to sit back and say, you have it. And I think Mavropanos and Gerd give us a different option. I think they allow us to play 5-10 yards higher in the pitch, because they've both got that recovery pace about them, which when you've got Zuma and we do try and push up, I think sometimes we can be a little bit exposed. Go see the goal against Aston Villa where Kudus didn't cut out the ball, felt him again, played it to Ollie Watkins, bang, the ball was in the back of the net after about 3 seconds. Hang on a minute, what happened there? So yeah, that's what I'd go for. However, if people say I'd prefer Zuma, I'm not going to argue. I completely get it. You don't have to persuade me why you'd prefer to see Zuma in the team. Now moving on into midfield, and you've got the Thomas Soucek conundrum here, haven't you?
Not me.
Or do you?
Not for my team, I haven't. No, I'm going to play Ward-Prowse and Alvarez in central midfield again, and be Lucas Paquetá as attacking midfielder. There's no room for Thomas Soucek in my team, I'm afraid, today.
Well, I've got the same personnel, but I want to see it differently. I discussed it with you over on Patreon and on the player ratings. I don't like this double pivot. I think at the start of the season, we've seen Alvarez as a definitive defensive midfielder, and he has Soucek and Ward-Prowse either side of him as sort of 2 number 8s, really. And I liked it. But now Moyes has got the problem of, well, how do I get Kudus and Bowen into the team and Paquetá? And I think the obvious solution is to move Paquetá central, which is fine. I prefer him central, I think. But don't necessarily like him in such an advanced position that we see a double pivot in midfield rather than Alvarez as defensive midfielder. So I agree with your players, but I'd like to see Paquetá deeper, and so that actually at times Ward-Prowse can push forward and get into the box like we've seen at the start of the season. So same players, slightly different makeup. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, because you may have a Antonio conundrum, but you might not. How would you like your front 3 to look?
No Mikel conundrum for me, my old son. No Mikel conundrum for me. I know exactly where I'm playing him, and I'm playing him at centre forward with Mohamed Kudus on the right-hand side and Jared Bowen on the left-hand side. That is how I will start.
Why Bowen on the... I know your answer, but for the listeners, why would you play Bowen on the left?
Because we are absolutely hindered on the left-hand side, on the left wing from an attacking perspective. Saïd Benrahma doesn't have the pace to beat his man. And he is so right-footed that anytime we get a little bit of a surprise attack, he checks back onto his right foot and we lose all momentum. The central defenders get back into position. And I want to see us for a game or two. I'd actually like to see it in 10 minutes in every game. Actually, we swap the wingers over. I don't think it's a natural thing to do. I don't know why David Moyes doesn't do it. But you got a little glimpse of it in the game against Olympiacos, where accidentally, because the flow of the game took Jarrod Bowen over to the left-hand side, he played the ball with his left foot and he played it early, which is something we're crying out for in our team. He cut the ball back to James Ward-Prowse, didn't score. James Ward-Prowse made a late run into the box, didn't score, but it was a good chance. It was a good opportunity. And I just think you're going to get a lot more. So Jarrod Bowen is considerably faster than Said Benrahma, and he's stronger as well. So if we get a chance for a long ball, maybe from a Gerd or a nice bit of interchange between Emerson, just Jarrod Bowen is far more likely for that passage of play to result in an attack. And I just think as a 3, that's far more potent than just playing Benrahma in there, basically.
Antonio striker?
Yeah, I would, because Bowen's going to be crossing with his left foot. That's sort of the point. And then we have somebody a little bit physical in the middle, and then maybe you can test out your Murillo or whatever. I wonder if they got a song. Do you know how to pronounce Murillo? So I wonder if they might have a bit of that going on. Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we, at the London Stadium? But yeah, so he can, Mikel Antonio can put him to the test.
Every night he's hugging Antonio.
No. I had a ruder lyric in my mind then. What was your
lyric?
No, I can't. That's definitely something for Patreon. I wouldn't dare share that on the public forum.
Pussy. I'm struggling with my front 3, truth be told, Gonzo, because obviously Bowen's going to be in there. I want to see Caduce in there, but it's who else? So it's either Antonio as a striker, Mubama as a striker, Benrahma as a left winger, or Cornet as a left winger, and then Bowen stays up front. And I'm really struggling with this one, and I'm not that bothered. I will be on Sunday, but I'm undecided at this point. I can make cases for all of them, pros and cons, because I feel like you're almost playing the game of law of averages if you select Antonio, which is he's got to play better soon, so put him in. And I do think we missed him against Olympiacos. I say we missed him. We missed a physical striker against. It wouldn't necessarily have to be him. It could have been, do you know something? I think it could have been Danny Ings and it could have been Mubama in the first half. I think either one of them would have improved us a little bit, having that target in the box. I think Cornet deserves a chance. I think Benrahma's had plenty and faltered to deceive, but I think he's done a little bit better in the previous 3 games than he has at any other point this season. Although against Olympiacos, I thought was his poorer of the 3. So I think I'm going to go Caduce on the right, Bowen in the middle, and Cornet on the left. I think that's what I would go for, because I'm still inclined to see Antonio off the bench. I still want to see Antonio as an option. We haven't really seen it yet. He was on the bench against Olympiacos, but he didn't come on. So we still haven't seen the impact he has coming off it. And maybe I'll tune into Antonio's podcast, see what he's vibing ahead of the game as to whether we should select him or not. Maybe
someone's got to
see what he's saying to Callum Wilson ahead of this fixture. But yeah, that's what I'd go for. But I can understand if people completely disagree with my front 3. You're not going to get much argument for me. And I think it's a bit annoying that I'm not convinced as to what I want to see, I suppose. And it's not because everybody's in form and I'm struggling to pick one. It's because they're out of form.
The other one,
I'm struggling to pick them. So, but anyway, before we move on to our confidence ahead of this game, just want to point in the direction of the Hammers Chat store for 2 reasons. First of all, you've got the Christmas jumper reason. Ta-da! I've got last year's design, but it's on a new and improved garment, and Gonzo's got this year's design also on a new and improved garment. If you pre-order it before Sunday night, it was going to be tonight, Friday, but when I put the order in tonight on Friday, they're not going to deal with it till Monday morning. So might as well just leave pre-orders till Sunday night. If you pre-order it, you're guaranteed a jumper, and B, you'll save a £5. Patrons can use their discount code as well to save additional funds. So if you're an addict, you will save a further £9, getting a jumper for £21 instead of £35 as the price will be on Monday. So please do go get your Christmas jumpers. And second of all, we've got the replica Europa Conference League final ticket. So if you went to the game, this could be a perfect gift for yourself, a little display in your office or in your house somewhere. There you go. You pre-order it on the Hammers Chat store. In the comment section, you put in all your details for your ticket, where you sat, and we get a personalized ticket made up for you, and we'll get that sent out to you. And there's also the team sheet as well. If you weren't at the game, however, and you want a ticket for display purposes, that's understandable. Just order the ticket as usual and just say you didn't go to the game. Put the name that you want on the ticket. We'll get you your name on your ticket, and we'll just give you like a default seat as we've got here for Hammers Chat, and we'll get that sent out to you. Pre-orders for that also closes on Sunday evening, because we then need to give it to the people that make the tickets to get them out to you in time for Christmas. So hammerchatstore.com, link in the description, pin comments of the video. Gonzo, still an important game. We've got 2 important games this week. We've won 1. This is number 2.
It's a hugely important game, for all concerned, and none more so than David Moyes. To lose this game at home would invite such massive pressure upon him, and I think he knows it. It's undoubtedly he knows it. He's going to want to get into the international break with a win against Olympiacos, Nottingham Forest behind him. Now, he's not going to be doing interviews in that time, so it's sort of been this. I've said it on a couple of occasions. He'll be able to speak to the press. He won't. He'll do one post-match press conference afterwards, maybe a little interview to the television cameras. But at that point, if he's asked, and it doesn't necessarily mean he will be asked, but if he's asked, he'll be able to say, "Hey, look, what's the problem? What's the problem? We're top of the group in Europe. We're in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, and we're in the top half of the Premier League." He'll be able to say that stuff, right? Or close to it. I haven't looked at the mathematics, but you get what I'm saying. To lose this, there's this little sequence of games where we've been sort of very close to a team. So the first one was Aston Villa. Whoever wins out of us and Aston Villa at that point would have gone 5th. We were like that. Aston Villa won, obviously beat us 4-1. The next one was Brentford. And we were 9th and they were 10th. It was something like that. We had 14 points, they had 13 points. Whoever won that game could have gone 7th. We lost that game. Brentford won. We dropped down some more. And now we have it with Nottingham Forest, and we're neck and neck in the league. And we can't keep having these games and losing them because we keep dropping down. And we're not going to get relegated.
We've got Burnley next.
Right, God, no for that.
Now we're neck and neck with Burnley.
That's not quite the same. Yeah, but he can't. Well, I was just about to say he can't survive. He can, and he possibly will. But the pressure becomes insurmountable. It really does. And we need it because, let's be fair, as fans, we don't want to go into a 2-week break with all that negative energy, all those bad stories, all that speculation, and it's just going to get very, very bad. So it's really important that we win, not just for David Moyes, but we need to start climbing up that league again. We really do. We are. I did a video, Geo, after we lost to Aston Villa, and I think we went on whenever we were in 8th or something like that. And I said, well, actually, I looked at the net spend, I looked at everyone, but this is pretty much where we're supposed to be. Money spent, wages, all that stuff. West Ham are 8th. That's where we are in the league. What we're not is 13th. That's not good enough for the amount of money spent for the wonderful world-class. Some of them I would argue Lucas Paquetá is a world-class player, right? For some of the players that we have, it's not acceptable to be there. So it's really important that we win this. There's a lot of pressure on, and David Moyes is going to need to find a way. There's an irony in arguably his most attacking team of the season was played against Olympiacos, and it yielded a clean sheet, which is not something that we've done particularly well this season. But he does have a foundation there. But it's important for everyone, and it's going to be a really, really interesting place to be, London Stadium on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's a really important game for him. I've always summed David Moyes up by saying his football's not great, it's not good. So he's very much a manager where results dictate, well, my vibe towards him anyway, my mood towards David Moyes has very much dictated it. If we're yielding the results, I can stomach it. I can stomach the football. However, as soon as the results stop, it becomes a problem because the football is not enjoyable. And at the minute, the results aren't there. Yes, we beat Olympiacos, but in regards to Premier League, we are dropping a couple of positions every game now at the minute. And he needs to get back to winning ways and winning ways quickly, starting with this game. I think he has to go and get 3 points on Sunday, and no other result will do. Points,
No,
not enough. It's not going to do anything. We're not going to get relegated. But what it does do is, I had hopes of us finishing 8th and a little bit of luck going our way. That 8th gets Conference League football for the following season. Not everyone's a fan of the Conference League, I understand that, but I enjoyed it. I love winning the trophy. And if we have a new manager next season and he's got the Conference League competition there, I actually think it would be perfect for the new manager, because he'd have a competition he could win.
yeah,
A competition where he could play the youngsters in, but focus on the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? I just think it would be a really good environment for a new manager to come in. So I want 8th. And I don't think it's unrealistic. I still don't think it's unrealistic. But if we start failing to win games at home to Nottingham Forest, games away to Burnley, then I think that hope disappears pretty quickly. Important game for him. A really important game. Are you confident?
No. The Aston Villa win for Nottingham Forest really dented my confidence, actually, it has to be said. I was actually reasonably confident about it, but that's a hell of a result for them. And they're going to know that there's going to be a really, really interesting atmosphere, I think, at the stadium on Sunday. And they're going to know that they can turn things against David Moyes or West Ham very, very quickly. There's a load of stuff just simmering under the surface. And whilst, I mean, what you said at the start of the video, from outsiders looking in, might think, oh, there's nothing wrong with West Ham, everything's fine. I don't expect opposition coaches to think that. I'm going to expect them to know that there is an underbelly of nervousness around the club. So it's hard to be confident, Gio. It really is.
I am.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can't even justify it. People always say, "Hey, what are you on about?" I don't even know, to be honest with you. Because I think we've got damn good players. I've seen Forest enough, and while they're improving, I still don't think they're the finished article yet. I think there's quite a few weaknesses in that Forest team, in that Forest lineup, in the way they play. And it's almost like a project thing. They're just not quite there yet for Nottingham Forest. So I think we can take advantage of that. We're capable of winning, and I don't know. I feel like we're going to win this game, and I honestly, I don't have phrases or words or reasons to justify it, other than just a gut feeling that I think we'll do all right on Sunday afternoon, which is dangerous, because you expect nothing, you can't be disappointed. Well, you expect something, you get nothing, and you're bloody disappointed.
Yeah.
So it's setting myself up for a fail, nobody else. But yeah, I think we'll win this one. So can I get your final thoughts, Gonzo, as well as your all-important score prediction, please?
He's got to get the team right.
Yeah.
I hope we're not too knackered from the European exertions. That gives them a little bit more miles in the legs. I certainly think so. It is going to be nervous. I'm going up there. So yeah. I'm hoping with some goals. I'm taking my youngest daughter. She saw her last game was the Everton game. I'm taking all my kids, actually, taking everyone. But my youngest daughter saw the Everton game last, and it was, it's a hard sell to a 9-year-old girl. Do you know what I mean? That one.
What should done bad this week to be punished to go back?
There's no naughty step. You just go into the London stadiums to watch West Ham play. Yeah. So we're gonna go with that. And for that reason, I don't know if that's influencing my score prediction, more in hope than anything.
Oh, I thought you were saying what? Because you're taking kids, you think we're going to get beat.
No. Because the daughter's going. I think I'm hoping to see some goals. I hope she sees some goals. Obviously, I want to win. I hope she sees some goals. I'm trying to blend that with my pragmatism and my own concern. So I'm going to go with an Archbishop Desmond Tutu for this one.
No, I wouldn't like that. I hope you're wrong.
So do I. I hope we win.
I really hope you're wrong. The lineup is important because he's got a few options. I think one or two of them would yield a win, but I also think one or two of them would cause us to struggle actually on Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. And I wait with a bit of nerves actually around that lineup coming out at 1:00 on Sunday afternoon. I'm going to say 2-1 West Ham. Gonzo, I think we'll win. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. For what it's worth, I don't think it's going to be pretty. I don't think we're going to blow them away. I think it'll be a bit like what we played against Olympiacos, a bit boring, a bit grindy. But it sounds a bit mental saying this a third of the way into the season, but it's important that we just get the 3 points and go into the international break. And I'm actually, while I appreciate what you're saying about the fatigue levels regarding the Europa League game, it makes sense. Of course it does. I'm actually glad we had it because it gives us, we got the win, we got the clean sheet. And at times against Olympiacos, I felt like I was watching a team with 1 win in 6 games. I felt like I was watching that. Well, hopefully with a win behind us now, we'll just see a little bit more confidence in the players, and that pass they perhaps weren't trying on Thursday, they'll try it against Nottingham Forest. And I'm hoping with Paqueta getting the goal and Ward-Prowse getting the assist, and that'll just be enough. I'm clutching at straws here, but that's all I've got to clutch at. So West Ham 2, Nottingham Forest 1 for me, and West Ham 2, Nottingham Forest 2 for Gonzo. Please get involved in the comments below. If you enjoyed this preview, do drop a like on the Scout Hammers chat and you fancy a Christmas jumper or a replica ticket from the Conference League final, head to hammerschatstore.com. Links in the description and the pinned comments, but do order it before Sunday night at 9 p.m. because that's when the prices will go up. The tickets won't be on sale, by the way. After Sunday, you cannot buy those tickets, so that sale stops. But on Monday, you can buy the Christmas jumper. They'll just be limited in stock and cost you £5 extra. It'll cost you £5 to dither.